Anyways, Phoenix, we did get to finish Tiny Tina's Wonderlands over the what was it? Not over the weekend. We finished it sometime during the week, but
Yeah, it's about a week now.
probably. And we have actually been playing it, so I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I actually played for a couple hours today earlier by my lonesome. Everyone else was busy. But yeah, Phoenix. I mean, I'll let you go first. I mean, what did you think about the end game, the campaign, the story? Were you satisfied with how everything wrapped up?
I mean, I guess. I mean, this game, like the narrative wasn't, the major focus. Like it was fun, but definitely didn't, outlive its welcome. I'll say that it's relatively short in comparison to the other Borderlands games. But I'll tell you, I even felt like this in Borderlands 2. Like, and I really like Borderlands 2 from a narrative
Oh
standpoint. But
yeah, that's a great
I feel
game.
like the last couple of hours dragged a little bit. And I kind of liked that this one was just a little shorter. So,
Hmm.
I mean, the ending was made a little anticlimactic. It kind of happened kind of quick, but it had a little bit of a reveal in there. I mean, the boss battle at the end was cool. So I mean, and really, I think for most people, they were probably caring about getting to the end game. That's really what matters in a game like this, because once you get past the narrative or the campaign, then that's where you're going to
Is
be
it?
at. So I think, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, is it kind of harsh for me to say that it was easier to kind of accept that it was a little less anticlimactic, being that I guess in a way I kind of approached this game as like a not like a lesser serious, like I approached it less seriously than like than Borderlands 3, because that was like a direct sequel, whereas this is kind of a spin-off. Was it kind of harsh for me to say it that way? You know what I'm saying?
Harsh. I mean, you had different expectations. As did I. I mean, I'll tell you, when they first announced this game, I couldn't have cared less. And I actually really like
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands in general, but I think BL3 just kind of, didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth. I was just very kind of meh on that whole experience. So when I saw this, I'm like, they're just gonna milk that whole Tiny Tina DLC
I
concept to
just mean
death.
I
And
had a
not
higher
worth it.
expectations, like you said, for 3. So like that being less or that being anticlimactic was different than this, because like you said, we went into this kind of like with a sour taste after Borderlands 3. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But that's kind of my point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
coming out of that game, not really having expectations for this, and then I think being pleasantly surprised that as it was released, you're hearing a lot of like positive reviews and buzz around it. So, I was kind of peaked out of nowhere to give it a shot, and the experience that it presented was, I think, pretty solid. It was different than a mainline entry, and I think that was good. I'm glad it didn't take itself too seriously. I'm glad it kind of separated itself from the standard, Borderlands narrative, and yeah, maybe a little anticlimactic, but overall, it was satisfying. I've been enjoying the end game. I mean, it's not like anything super, super robust, but the Chaos Chambers were fun. I ran all the way up to, was it Chaos 20, so I
I
did
still
that pretty
haven't
easily.
even finished one. I think the last time I played was with you guys during that one where you failed.
I
You
will.
failed me at the end.
Oh man, that was a thing. I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't done the Chaos Trials. But there's some hidden bosses you can search for. So I don't know, I guess my only, I'm not gonna call this a gripe necessarily, because kind of the first time this really happened to me in a Borderlands game. Like, I usually get pretty good at ending up with a fairly strong character, but I never feel like the characters I've made in the past have ended up being like straight up broken.
Mm-hmm.
This character I've made feels broken.
Because
I
of all
mean,
the Hydra heads and
Hydra.
whatever.
Yeah, so for those who have played the game, I'm going, was it Graveborn or Grave Warden, whatever it is, and Spell Shot with like a focus on the companion build. And man, I'm throwing out like it's like 10 Hydras. I started throwing Pixies in the other day, and like all these boosts to it, and it wrecks everything all the way through Chaos 20. Like I never struggled, never had an
Mm-hmm.
issue. The only issue I ran into was during those boss battles. I ran out of ammo, and of course that kind of broke my build. But it was just weird because it's definitely taken the difficulty aspect away from the game. Not that Borderlands was ever, crazy difficult, but it definitely had its moments where, you had to kind of hunker down and fight through something. And I haven't really felt like that in the game right
I
now.
will.
And I don't feel like I've gone out of my way to break my character either. I've just used the gear and the mechanics that are in there, and it just feels very overpowered.
I
And I'm not
will.
trying to complain about that, but
I
go
will
ahead.
say,
I'm sorry.
unlike some of the other Borderlands games, when I was playing solo earlier, it's really easy. Like I remember with Borderlands 1 and 2, it was actually fairly difficult to kind of go out and play solo. I just wanted to throw that out there. Like I'm not quite sure if that's because of how OP. I don't remember how OP we got in the first two games, but man, I was just breezing through every side quest and everything earlier when I was playing. And in Borderlands 2, I remember, man, it was almost not fun going out by yourself. But sorry.
I mean, it depends, man. I think there were definitely moments in BL2 that I think, well, how do I want to say this? I mean, didn't feel overly difficult, but it had its moments. I think in general this game does feel easier, but it might just be once again the build I've kind of ended up with, which is I think been another kind of weird side effect. Like, typically in a Borderlands game, you're always waiting for that next drop. You know, you're waiting for the next new gun with the next crazy feature. But maybe it's just because I fell into this OP build so quickly, and it really is kind of niched out where I only care about one type of gun. If it's not a gun that, you know, I can throw and spawn hydras, I don't give a crap about it. So like half the legendaries that drop, I just look at them like, meh. So I haven't really updated my build in probably the past like 10, 15 hours of play, really. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's getting stale necessarily, but it's missing that component of that gear grind. Like, not that I'm not looking for new gear, but the benefits I'm finding are real marginal at this point. So I don't know, maybe it's just I got to that in-game kind of cap really quickly, or what it is. I am looking forward to the DLC, so maybe that will kind of be a chance to, you know, push the build a little bit further and get a little more out of it.
When's that come out again? Did you see
it's
it?
Like the end of this month.
Oh, interesting.
It was like April 20-something, which I didn't catch the first time, but the game did launch with a season pass, and they already have the DLC coming, which I think is good. I think a game like this is going to need that quick kind of turnaround, and I guess they just did a hot fix or hot patch for it that introduced like new featured, was it Chaos Chamber, and I think some like buffs and some tweaks to some of the gameplay elements, so they're definitely trying to keep, you know, the game updated and add some new content, which is nice.
Yeah, actually, it's why you were mentioning how OP you were able to get. I actually kind of recently, for my character, which I went with a Berserker and a Spellweaver, I actually did kind of find a kind of OP way of kind of creating my character where, I don't know if you can see, but on my screen, there's, they kind of have these two things here. They're like almost like the grenades, right? From the previous games.
Your spells?
Yeah, your spells. Those almost act like your grenades, I was assuming.
Kind of. I mean, I think spells are a lot more varied than grenades.
Well, yeah,
like, to a
but that's
extent.
kind of what they're replaced in a way. But actually, with my my Spellweaver, I guess along with my Berserker, I'm not even quite sure how I did it. I kind of just I haven't been paying attention, just throwing numbers at things. But now all of a sudden, I've overpowered. I have both of them in both slots now. They're both like lightning bolts. And they recuperate like so quickly that I can just continuously throw lightning bolts, and I almost don't even need to shoot my guns anymore because I have two of them, and it's just like pew pew, like the freaking like Darth Sidious just running around.
And that's been one of the cool things about this game. Like, if you think about any traditional Borderlands game, it usually comes down to the gunplay because, you know, that's the whole point, right? Get the new crazy gun, see what it shoots. But this game, like, it gives you so many like other options for how you engage with the enemies. Like, you could go all spells, and like kind of sounds like that's how you've kind of ended up with like a quick recharge spell build.
Yes,
and then never shoot it. Same thing with my Hydra build. I'm just chucking Hydras all the time. I almost never shoot the gun, which is weird. Which is neat. I don't know if that has detracted me from maybe enjoying that aspect of the game because I'm not spending time with all these cool, unique guns. I'm just like, it's not a Hydra, so I don't care. And I also, and once again, it might be a byproduct of me falling upon this like kind of broken, crazy build initially, but I don't really have a lot of interest in trying all the other classes. I don't know, maybe that's just me being a little...
I can totally see that. I'm enjoying my one class so much that maybe it's like you said, it's because you're so overpowered. It's like, well, what reason do I have to try a different mix, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm sure the other abilities are fun, and maybe I'll play around with them a little bit, but I can't imagine them being a whole lot better than what I'm currently running. So, I don't know, and that's cool in a way. I said, this is like the first time I've kind of fallen into like a broken or really high-powered build like this, so that's been fun to kind of have that power fantasy, but... I don't know. I think I'm probably going to be getting towards that point where it's a little stale. Of course, new content's coming. I still haven't completed a lot of the side quests, so I'll probably start focusing on that. But
I just got done doing the. I knocked out a whole section earlier, and I got done doing this area that's like based on Pinocchio. There's like
I did that one
and everything.
That one got weird and dark.
It's
towards the end.
super weird. Yeah.
I thought it was going another direction too, but you know, it was something.
The
side quest had been pretty good.
Its main quest in that area ended super quickly. Like, I thought there was going to be this whole thing when you go in the whale, and it's like, nope. It just that main quest just ends once you go in the whale, and you have like a tiny little battle.
Yeah, I will say a lot of the side quests though I've enjoyed, and I think a lot of the Borderlands games usually do that pretty well.
The turtles from 2.
Oh yeah, the turtles, and they have the Smurf tribute one, and this one.
I've been quoting that in text with you guys nonstop.
Yeah, I noticed.
That's probably my favorite one so far. Smurf you.
Yeah, Murph, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying it. I think it's been a nice surprise because, as I said, I mean, I've always liked Borderlands, but I definitely felt like it either got stale or kind of, just I fell off on 3. So this was nice to kind of bring me back into the Borderlands kind of a franchise a little bit with something that's fun. It's light. It's not taking itself too seriously, and the gameplay's fun. I don't know how long ultimately I'll keep playing it. I mean, down the line, something I'm sure will pop up and take my time, but I've been enjoying it for what it is.
I guess just a couple little things I wanted to add that I've really enjoyed with this game is I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but I love the character customization. This is by far the most enjoyable and thorough character customizable abilities that they've had in any Borderlands game to date. I've been running around looking like Kung Lao the whole time and running around with my giant hat.
Oh yeah, the you're talking about the actual aesthetics and stuff.
Yes, the customization of just there's so many different ways you can make your character look. I think it's by far the most thorough. I don't know. What about you?
Oh yeah, no, I've liked that. I mean, I know before they didn't do that because I think the characters that they provided, they wanted to have a narrative tied to them, so they kind of curated their look and their personality a little bit. But I've liked just having free reign over it. And granted, it fits the whole D&D kind of aesthetic. You make your own character, but I mean, I'm still unlocking new customization options for different hats and helmets and weird stuff, which I always like a game like that. It's daunting at first though. I was very surprised to see just how in depth it was the first time we turned on the game, and that definitely I think slowed us down as we were getting the game going because we all took an hour just building our character. But I like that. I always like a game that gives you the customization. If you don't want to do it, you can just skip right past it and hop right into the game with a pre-build, which is nice.
And I guess just one more thing I think's really incredible is the voice acting. I feel like I've really enjoyed the voice acting. Ashley Birch is great. Valentine or Ashley Birch, Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, Will Arnett, and I didn't even realize, but my character voice that I chose is Chris, what's his name? Vegeta. I didn't even realize the entire time I've been playing this.
Sabat?
Yeah, it's Chris Sabat voices my character, and I've heard it. Oh. I've heard it off and on, but I don't know why I never was like, is that Vegeta?
Do you have the weird kind of pompous voice? Because I think I might have that same one.
He's a very deep voice, and it kind of sounds European in a way.
Yeah, I think I have the same voice, and
it's Irish or Scottish and it's a very
that's the one I chose. But now that you mention that, I can hear Vegeta in that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I looked it up because I'm like, who voices this guy? And it said Chris Sabat, and I'm like, oh, okay. I've heard Vegeta a couple times in there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the voice acting is good. And to be fair, I mean, in most Borderlands games, the voice acting has been pretty
They find
solid.
Interesting people to bring in, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, good game. I give it my thumbs up. I guess approval.
A quick question. The only question I really had was, where does this rank for your Borderlands games?
Borderlands 2 is still my favorite.
Definitely.
I think just from beginning to end, that one's gonna be hard to beat. And maybe it is because of the narrative and the characters. Handsome Jack is just one of those iconic villains now. He stands up, I think, with some of the best of them in gaming.
Safe to say the pre-sequel and 3 are probably the least, right? You're probably lesser?
3 is definitely, for me, the last one. Pre-sequel, so I only played through pre-sequel, I think, one time.
I didn't get to play much of it, yeah.
And I think we were playing with friends, and we kind of just plowed through it so fast. I think we beat it in,
a day.
Was it a night? Or,
it was a day.
Yeah, so it was... Yeah. So I missed so much of it, and I didn't really have the interest to go back and, really dig into it. I heard good things about it.
Did we make, a big LAN party, and we filled your fridge up with adult beverages? I remember.
That sounds right.
We had, we all brought our PCs over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that went down, and it was fun. I mean, the game itself was Borderlands, and
used up all
that's
your
one
power.
thing. Yeah, Borderlands with friends, no matter which one you're playing, is always going to be fun. It's just built for co-op, which is really nice.
So, do you prefer this or 1? I think I might like this more than 1, but 1 is a nostalgia pick.
I'm probably the same. But 1, this is a better game than 1.
Oh yeah, can't help it.
It has more story, has more personality. I think what I like about 1 though is it's kind of that weird kind of offshot one. It feels like because it was when they were trying all this stuff out. It didn't have that really polished narrative, but I kind of liked that it was kind of open and empty. It almost felt more desolate because of it. I don't know. It wasn't trying to be as much of a comedy, which I thought was interesting. It definitely had its comedic moments. And I think the DLC really played into that.
One
more.
One felt very dark humor.
That's what I was saying. It felt darker, and not that the other ones didn't do dark humor. I mean, this one very much does.
They
Tiny
all
Tina's,
have it,
but
yeah.
I think because one wasn't so focused on this like main antagonist, it was a little more mysterious because you didn't know was it Angel that was the
I think
voice that kept
so.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like you didn't know what she was pulling you towards. And granted, the final ending was kind of anticlimactic. It threw some weird stuff at you out of nowhere.
Was
But
that the one that ended with you fighting the door
big
beast?
vault creature,
Vault
yeah.
creature? Yeah.
But I liked it. I mean, it was just that was like a very, I think, special gaming time in my
Mm-hmm.
life. Like that 360 era was, I was going through college, played a lot of games, but it was like I was really into Xbox Live and the social aspect. So I know that was just a game that really kind of checked a lot of
That was
boxes at a certain point.
that was one that you turned me on to like much later after it came out. Like you had already been big into it, and then I think that was one I rented from Blockbuster actually when Blockbuster was a thing.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
So, I mean, I'd probably say this is my second favorite. Borderlands 2, then this, and then 1. But just for very different reasons. 1 is definitely not the better game. Granted, some of the DLC in 1 I think was really solid, like the Dr. Ned zombie thing.
Oh, I forgot about that. And then there was a
Trap Revolution.
yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Like really, I think that's what kind of set the tone for Borderlands 2 was that DLC. Like the game itself was just kind of like treading the waters in areas, but didn't really like double down on anything. And then the DLC really took a chance to kind of okay, this is gonna be the tone and the kind of style we're gonna use for Borderlands moving forward, and that's what's now evolved into. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I think 2, then this Tiny Tina's, and then 1, and the rest of them, they're somewhere just mixed down at the bottom.
Fair enough. Oh, I forgot about what was the what was that?
Oh,
other
the Telltale?
Telltale. I forgot about that one.
That one I really liked.
That one I
but
really
granted, that's
liked.
like pure narrative.
Yeah. I totally forgot. I was just thinking. I'm like, there had to have been one more.
I don't know if I can even put that one in the ranking, just because it's a different game.
I freaking
Like,
love that game though. That was really good.
yeah, no, the story was great. And I like that they in 3 they kind of brought it back a little bit because the one guy,
With arm guy. What is his name? I don't remember his name.
yeah, they like in 3 he had a mustache and he was a whole like guy, and I don't remember the whole narrative thing. I kind of wish they dug in more to that. 'Cause you never found out what happened to the other half of that, the other character, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe down the line, Borderlands 4, 5, 10, I don't know.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of rounds up our thoughts. I feel like we've kind of closed the door on Borderlands. I mean, maybe I don't know. I feel like maybe when the DLC comes out, maybe it might be fun to talk about what we're thinking about that. But I guess as for now, I mean, I feel like I can kind of move on from Borderlands. I'll probably still play whenever you guys are on, but I actually really enjoyed playing solo earlier. There's oh gosh, I'll add to it. There's definitely a different feeling when you play a Borderlands game solo. Like I definitely feel like for me, I can't multitask with Borderlands. So like talking to you guys and playing, but like playing solo, I feel like I can focus in on like a lot of more story and a lot of more like the voice acting and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I am sure when we plowed through the game, we missed so many like
references,
kind of neat narrative beats and references and side jokes. And maybe I think that's probably why I didn't like the pre-sequel as much. I mean, I think there was probably a really good game in there. For the people I know who actually took time and dug into it, they act like they really enjoyed it. But we literally just plowed through the whole campaign, and that's kind of the nature of the co-op experience in this game. You just kind of branch off in any direction, and like some people are doing one quest over here, the other ones are doing stuff over here, and that's cool, but it's chaos, and you just miss so much. So yeah, it's a nice kind of single session where you're playing through, gives you a lot more time to focus in on the nuances and appreciate things a little differently.
Not that I don't love playing with my buddies. You guys are great.
Oh, I hate you guys. Not just kidding.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it is a different flavor playing solo versus with people.